So in this week's episode of Brit in Poland, I bring you Wrocław. Well, I say this week, it might be next week. It's a very big city, so there's an awful lot to cover. But essentially, this is, some people would say, the best city in Poland. Some people would question that. Certainly the people who are from here normally associate it as the best. It's a wonderful mixture of history and modern. And there is so much to do here, it's impossible to do in a weekend. I think even a week is a stretch to see everything. There are some amazing parks, some amazing museums, plenty of bars, plenty of attractions, plenty of things to see, a million statues. Wrocław is an incredible place in Poland, and I hope that this video will show you, or the series of videos, will show you the best that Wrocław has to offer, and I sincerely recommend it as an amazing place that you should visit if you're coming to Poland. Definitely in the top 3 places to go. So stay tuned after the credits, and I hope you enjoy the video. Dzień dobry, and welcome to A Brit in Poland. This channel is going to bring you everything you need to know about Poland. I am exploring the country, bringing you the history, trying to tell you about the culture, and show you what it is really like to live here. So feel free to check out my other media, Instagram, Facebook, and I will share links to those in the comments. I also have a website, www.britlivinginpoland.com, where I collate my videos for easy to view manner. Also, you are welcome to contribute to my efforts through Patronite or Patreon, and all descriptions are available below the video. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and please come back for more by subscribing, liking, or commenting. Thank you very much. Do zobaczenia. I want to start again by thanking my Patreon subscribers. You really help me to keep this channel going, and you really mean the world to me, so thank you very much for your contributions. So this series of videos will be covering the amazing city of Wrocław. There is so much to see here, so much to do, and so much for me to tell you. Now, Wrocław is in the southwest of Poland. It is the capital of the Lower Silesia Voivodeship, and it is pretty easy to get to by train, by plane, by bus. It takes maybe about 4 hours from Warsaw. So some interesting facts to start off the video. So Wrocław was founded around 1000 AD as a Polish city by Bolesław I as a stronghold and bishopric. In 2016, Wrocław was awarded the title of the European Capital of Culture, with 5 million tourists visiting per year. It is also known as the Venice of the North because it has an extensive network of canals and rivers. And locals will tell you it has over 300 bridges in the city as well. The population is about 670,000, which I believe last year made it overtake Łódź as the 3rd largest city in Poland. Now, first off, we are going to talk about dwarves. Now, dwarves are a staple of Wrocław life. They started in the 1980s, being painted on buildings as a protest against the Soviet government in play, PRL. This is Papa Dwarf, and he is the first dwarf, which was built in 2001. And about 5 more went up in 2008, 2009. And since then, the number has grown to some say over 600, some say over 1,000 throughout the city. You have the dwarf information point where you can get guides and you can download an app to help you find them. And these things are hidden everywhere. They are on lampposts, they are hidden in streets, they are in doorways, they are in shops, they are on ledges. Whew. There are a lot to find. And they can be commissioned for 5,000 zloty and are generally made of bronze. But yeah, you can also take tours to find these things, and it's great fun. So we're going to start with the main square of Wrocław, and this is actually like the second largest main square in Poland after Krakow, and it dates back to the 13th century. The style of the square now, as you see it, dates back to the 18th and 19th century with kind of Baroque and Classicism styles. And it contains like an outer layer of tenement houses and an inner layer. And the inner layer is actually like 7 degrees off from the outer square. Nobody's quite sure why. The square has been continually rebuilt on, and actually it's raised the height over the years, which you can see if you look at certain cellars. Now we're going to look at the City Hall because this is quite an impressive building. The building started construction in the 13th century and actually took 250 years to be completed. And it was done in kind of Berger architecture, and it is 66 meters high. It is now the City Museum of Art, and it's particularly worth visiting for the Gothic and Renaissance halls and rooms. And back in the day, the building was a key location for the city's commercial and administrative functions, and it was also the Hall of Justice. So a very important building and a very beautiful one to explore as well. You have rooms such as the Court Hall, the Councillor's Room, the Knight's Hall and the Duke's Hall, so definitely worth a visit. Now, Wrocław is also open to basically the oldest pub in Europe. This is Piwnica Świdnica, and it goes back to 1273. It has historic Gothic cellars, and it has been open to all of those with a thirst for a good beer and food for over 7 centuries. And I have to say, the food was very nice. The beer was very nice. It was maybe a little bit pricey, but nothing insane. Would totally recommend. While you're in the square, you might want to check out the Panz Museum. This was opened in 2016, and it tells the story of an extraordinary book, perhaps the last one known by nearly all Poles by heart. It contains the only existing manuscript of Adam Mickiewicz' Pan Tadeusz, which was written in a time where Poland was not on the map, but speaks to the Polish soul. And I actually bought a copy in the gift shop in English, so I will be reading this. And it's a book required if you want to have Polish citizenship. You need to be able to quote probably in Polish, which will be fun. There are a number of permanent exhibitions about the manuscript and other works. You have Mission Poland, which talks about freedom during and after World War II, citing examples of Jan Nowak and other fighters, you could say. And it has an exhibit about Pan Tadeusz Rożewicz, who was a 20th century hero who also fought in the Second World War. Next, we're going to go through the Hansel and Gretel gates, which are the only surviving gates, tenement houses that used to surround an old cemetery of St. Elizabeth's Church. Now, this is a 14th century church, and the tower, now 80 meters, once stood at 130 meters before it collapsed during a storm in 1525. It was the most important church for townsmen for several centuries, contains the highest number of Renaissance and Baroque gravestones and epitaphs in Lower Silesia. Next, we go to Salt Square, which is like a secondary square to the main one. It was originally used as a secondary market where trade was conducted with salt, honey, wax, leather, and other similar goods, formerly known as the Polish market due to the nature of the goods sold. The most impressive building is the old stock exchange, and it was a seat for the associated merchants. And it contains a museum called Moviegate.
And this is underground, so underneath the square. And in here you can find all kinds of artifacts from movies. I was looking in them, they all have certificates of authenticity. And they have so many different movies from popular culture covered. And really, it's a quirky place to go. If you love your movies, it is worth seeing. It also has a few historical reconstructions of life in the bunker and a bit of an illusion museum at the end of it. So next we are going to go to St. Mary's. Now this is one of, let's say, the most exciting looking churches in Wrocław, and construction began in 1330, and it's actually one of the 5 cathedrals in Wrocław. I think by the end of this course of videos we will cover everything. These days it is also used to hold oratorio music concerts, and it's very characteristic with its 2 linked towers, which have a bridge now used as a viewpoint. And apparently you can hear lamenting at night from the bridge from the ghosts of 2 girls who are doing penance for hustling and abandoning their boyfriends. These days it is a major tourist attraction which gives you an incredible view of the city, as long as you're able to climb the great number of steps to the top. It is a little bit crowded, but I think you'll agree that the view is worth it. There is a bit of a queue to get here because they only let a certain number of people in at a time, but if you're in the center, definitely go there. So next we're going to take a bit of a walk, and we are going to go to the Panorama Racławice. Now this place is really cool. Not only is it an interesting looking building from the outside, but let me tell you the story. In 1893, a giant panorama was commissioned in the city of Lwów, which is now in Ukraine, to commemorate the Battle of Racławice between the Polish insurgent army and the Russian forces in 1794. The painting was commissioned by Jan Stika, Wojciech Kosak and Ludwik Boller, and took 9 painters to complete. However, in 1944, it was damaged by air raids from the Soviet army, and after this, the painting was rolled up, secured, and transported to a Bernardine monastery. In 1966 to 67, the panorama was built. The painting was restored, both with work done in Warsaw and Wrocław, and in 1985, the face of the painting was varnished as well. And it is very lifelike. You can see they've made it kind of 3-dimensional by having like real ground between the viewing platform and the painting. You have a big voice blaring out the history in Polish, but you can get English audio tours as well. So our next stop, we are going to be going to Ostrów Tumski, which is one of the most beautiful parts of Wrocław. And we're going to get there by going over this island called Wyspa Piasek. And here you have a university, you have some church buildings, you have this rather cool monument on a little island down below. Wrocław is absolutely full of artwork and monuments and statues and murals, by the way, so you will get to see those. You may have seen this in the Dwarf, but this is the love bench, and these are love locks, which are very characteristic in Poland, and you will see them on a lot of bridges particularly. Of course, each lock having the name of the 2 lovers and is a symbol of eternity. So, Ostrów Tumski. This is one of the most beautiful complexes of sacral architecture in Europe. And here, the first settlement of the city was built, which was then a duke's residence. The island would become the diocese's capital after the duke's court moved to the left shore of the Oder River. And in the 19th century, one arm of the Oder River was filled in and it ceased to be an island. And we are going to focus on the cathedral here, which I would say is the main place to visit. Originally built in the year 1000 out of wood, the Gothic building you see now dates back to the 13th century, and it would be extended a few times over the following centuries. There are many sculptures and paintings to admire within, with a great number being brought in from other churches. So this represents the second cathedral of Wrocław that you will see in this tour. It has a painting called the Madonna of Wrocław, and apparently the painting has been done in a way that it will follow the viewer with its eyes as you walk past it, due to some kind of special painting trick. There are 2 lions at the entrance, which are said to bring luck when stroked. And it also contains a viewing platform. So you can take an elevator in this one, so you don't have to take the stairs. And it gives you a lovely, again, another view. There are lots of views of Wrocław, but this one is particularly nice, being so close to Ostrów Tumski. So we're going to call this basically part 1 of this series of videos, because there is an awful lot to see in Wrocław. If I was to show everything I have in one video, it would probably be 45 minutes, maybe an hour or so. So I'm trying to break down the experience. So there are definitely a lot more exciting things to come. In particular, in the next video, you can expect to see the area around the Centennial Hall, which is a World UNESCO Heritage Site building. And we are going to focus on the various things to see around there. They're including the Wrocław Zoo, which is the biggest in Poland, and many people say the best. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed part 1. Please stay tuned. Part 2 will be coming soon. Please like, please subscribe, please share.